Wow. Hello, everyone. Once again, I'm back. For anyone who didn't see the community post, my house got struck by lightning again a few weeks ago, so that's why I disappeared. Hard to do art when your computer is a smoking wreckage. And no, I'm not exaggerating, there really was smoke this time, which was a little scary. But despite that, and other things that were going on at the same time, I managed to survive. Much like a cockroach, it takes more than 2 lightning strikes to kill me. So anyhow, now that my computer is back and my voice is better from being sick for 2 weeks, oh yeah, because that happened too, I can finally show off the bookmarks that I literally finished the day before my computer was fried. Some of you may have already spotted these in my store, but here they are in all their glory, another set of bookmarks, this time featuring the Jade Winglet. I drew these like a day or two before the lightning, and I remember I literally ordered the prints and then left my house to go see Thunderbolts in the theater, and by the time I got back, my house had been struck by lightning. Anyhow, the point of that story is that these just barely slid through the gauntlet to be finished on time. So anyhow, today I want to talk about the Jade Winglet. I know, right, that wasn't obvious at all. But I thought it would be fun to rank the characters on who I like the most, since I actually drew everybody for this. Before we get started, 2 things. Yes, I know it's obvious that my favorite is Keebly. Everyone knows he's my favorite character. I don't know what to tell you. And also, yes, I know that technically Carnelian was the Skywing for the Winglet, not Peril, but y'all aren't the bosses of me, and I do what I want. I'm going to start with my least favorite characters and work my way up to my favorite. Alright, so starting off with my least favorite Jade Winglet member, it's Moonwatcher. Yeah, I know, what? But like, she's just kind of boring to me. Her point of view book was kind of interesting because we get to see her glimpses into the minds of so many other dragons, but other than that, she's pretty average. She's like the white bread of the cast, guys. She has these cool powers, she's anxious people will judge her for them, she's nice, etc., etc., I don't know. I don't hate her, but to me, she's just kind of a blank character. She just doesn't seem to have a ton of personality. She's not poorly written, per se. I would have done some things differently with her, but she's not inherently a bad character. Just not my cup of tea. I feel like she'd have been more interesting if she'd had some flaws that played off of her backstory better. Like here she has these huge secret powers, she didn't grow up with other dragons, she's nervous they'll hate her. Make her a compulsive liar, or make her, painfully awkward in social situations or something. She just seems kind of bland otherwise. Not to mention, I feel like she kind of got done dirty by the love triangle, because I think it kind of reduced her character to this romantic side plot instead of her own person. Next up is Turtle. My issues with him are very similar to my issues with Moon. He's just kind of boring. The reason I like him slightly better, though, is just because he's marginally more interesting than a blank sheet of paper. He can also seem very bland, though. Much like Moon, he seems to base a lot of his personality in sheer anxiety. But his POV of constantly thinking, hey, if I were in a scroll, it'd be like this or like that, was kind of intriguing. It was different from anything else I'd read, at least. So unlike Moon, even if it wasn't riveting, at least it was interesting. I don't hate Turtle either, he's just fine, but the dithering and the panicking are annoying to me. I'm kind of with Keebly here. Turtle has all this power, but he's either too scared or too short-sighted to use it in useful ways. It's a little aggravating to watch sometimes. This kind of ties back to my opinion of animus magic in general, so I won't go into much more detail there, but anyways. I think Turtle, kind of like Moon, needs some personality outside his power. Like when you think of Kinkajou, you think happy, friendly, loud. When you think of Tsunami, you think angry, likes to fight, protective. But when I think of Turtle or Moon, all that pops to mind is powers and anxiety because of them. Again, I don't really hate either of these characters. They have moments I enjoy, dialogue that I find interesting, character beats that I liked. There's nothing inherently wrong with how they were written. They just don't measure up against some of the other characters in the second arc. My third pick is Umber. He and Kinkajou are almost tied, just because we don't know much about him. I think that'll be changing soon though, so I may be able to revisit that topic at some point, but for now, he's sitting in the lower half. Umber's pretty alright, to be honest. He's this chill background kind of guy. He was level-headed, and he cared about his family, and he's a pretty loyal guy from what we've seen. When Sora left the school, Umber didn't seem to have any issues following her. I like that in a character a lot, the ride or die loyalty kind of guy. I think it's neat because if you pursue it, it introduces some really neat moral conundrums, like when their loyalty clashes with the right thing to do, how do they react? I think it's a fun situation because sometimes doing the wrong thing for a good reason can be a very compelling thing to read about. Now, like I said, we don't actually know a lot about Umber since he got so little time in the second arc before disappearing. But it seems like we're going to finally get some more info about him with the fourth arc, so maybe we'll finally get to learn some more about him. Kinkajou is my fourth favorite member of the Jade Winglet. She's fun to read about, and even more excitingly, her character has hidden depths. Also, I think she's appeared in the most books to date, which is kinda neat. She gets around. I don't remember if she appeared in the third arc. I think she has the most books where she's in them, but I don't remember if she was actually in all 3 arcs. I know Tsunami appeared in all 3 arcs, and Keebly, which is kind of cool. Anyways, I love seeing this deeper side of Kinkajou in the second arc. In the first arc, she seems fairly happy-go-lucky, and even her experience with the Nightwings doesn't seem to get her down for long. And in the second arc, she's still very peppy and outgoing, but we also see this other side of her, more serious, even angry at times. It lends a depth to her character that we didn't get in books 3 and 4. Especially after she got hurt by Chameleon, I feel like her arc was just very interesting. Also, her dialogue is fun, and when she's around, things are generally more interesting, so that's a bonus too. My third favorite character is Peril. I love how in book 8, her style of dialogue is just yelling. Indignant yelling, happy yelling, surprised yelling, whatever. She just seemed to have this really fun inner voice where it's just always very loud. She's hilarious to follow in her book too, because if I were to describe Peril's personality in one word, it would just be loud. Also, on a more serious note, I think her struggle with fire scales is a really interesting situation. Here she wants so badly to have friends and build relationships and try to get past what she did in the arena, but she has this literal barrier between her and everyone around her. I think it's a very cool premise that she can't touch anyone but Clay. But one thing I do really like about Peril, though, is that she is striving to move past her days in the arena, but she doesn't have it figured all out yet. She makes mistakes, gets angry at the wrong times, makes the wrong choices. She can be stubborn, a little thick sometimes, and impetuous, but one thing I just love about Peril is that she's always trying. Once she learned that Scarlet was lying to her, she began trying to become a better person, in her own weird ways. And I love that she's unapologetically herself. Okay, so y'all already know that Keebly is my all-time favorite Wings of Fire character, and that's still true, but the more time passes, the more Winter really grows on me. I've already done a video talking about why he has a great character arc, but I kind of want to talk about it again because he's still awesome. Winter is kind of like a different flavor of Peril. He hasn't killed a bunch of dragons, but he's a difficult, distrustful, rude person when we first meet him. But at the same time, he has this compelling backstory. He's the disappointment Icewing Royal, and he's never been able to get out from under the guilt of losing Hailstorm, even if that wasn't his fault. He takes a lot of this emotional hurt and turns it outward, lashing out at everyone around him. But then we see him start to grow. He makes friends and is able to forgive himself and realize that his family wasn't perfect and all-knowing. I think his story is a beautiful example of leaving a bad situation, realizing the people around you weren't healthy, and making a new family from those who want the best for you and love you. Also, he has this certain dry wit about him that makes me laugh every now and again. The little peeks we've got of him in the later books have been lovely too. Winter really left his family and is now out living his best life. And of course, like I said, y'all know Keebly's my favorite. He's a pretty popular guy, honestly. He's funny, sarcastic, caring, smart. It speaks for itself. I almost don't even need to explain why he's so cool to me and so many other people. But who am I kidding? I totally will anyways. Keebly has that ride or die loyalty that I talked about earlier with Umber. He's very committed to the dragons he loves, and that's admirable. Plus, he's just genuinely fun to follow in a book. He's goofy and sincere and full of dumb jokes and smart comments. He's a genuinely caring dragon, which I gotta say is something I think he picked up from Thorn because he definitely didn't learn it at home. What do y'all think? List your favorite Jade Winglet characters in the comments and tell me why if you want to. I love seeing the different takes on the same characters that we can all have because I think it's so cool that you can take the same book and the same character and it can speak so differently to different people. Also, I know I haven't really talked about the art progress much, but I had a time getting these bookmarks designed. I got them all sketched, and if I remember correctly, I think I drew all 7 in one day. Looking back, that sounds like a lot, but I really think I sat here and spent about 14 or 15 hours drawing. And, I do that sometimes. It's super unhealthy, 0 out of 10, do not recommend, but sometimes I get in the zone and I forget about everything else. Anyhow, like I said, let me know your favorite characters and why in the comments. And tell me which bookmark is your favorite, too. I think I like the Umber bookmark the most, personally. He turned out really good. Remember, these bookmarks are available in my store if you're interested in them. And to celebrate finally being back after weeks of having no computer, I'm having a quick little sale. So everything in the store is 15% off for the next 3 days. So if you want any of these bookmarks, the bookmarks with the queens on them, or any of the other neat stuff that I have, feel free to go check that out. There will be links in the description and in the pinned comment. Thank y'all for watching. I'm excited to be back, and y'all have a blessed day.